Yo!
Oh man, I almost had the tap off.
Wow! Bro, I blew that dude's dome and he was too close to the stump, so it killed the stump too.
That was a nice shot.
I'm trying to shoot him in his butt. I'm trying to shoot him in his rump. I want a rump shot.
Fire in the hole.
Yeah, fire in the hole.
Good.
Hey, leave that one. Oh, goodness. I was going to say, leave that one.
I mean, to be honest, one of my favorite things to do in Gears 5 is to get head.
To get head. What did you say?
I'm gonna act like I didn't hear that.
Wait a minute, did I hit it? Did I hit it right?
I'm getting hit. He's down here getting fisted.
No, I got her.
What's wrong with you?
I put so many shots into this bitch.
Maybe you should fist it.
That's
what we're going.
Definitely not the type of class that I got right now.
Yeah, right.
I got the striker. Let me try.
Come on.
How?
I didn't kill him with a
Force you
lancer.
down
What?
with me, like.
I didn't kill him with a lancer. It said I killed him with the lancer.
No, you had the
Sniper.
you had the ice thing.
Wow. Hey, what is going on, all my fellow godlies and Gears of War enthusiasts around the world? I know it has been a hot minute. I completely skipped the month of October and November. Hope you all had a wonderful Thanksgiving. I know I sure as hell did because, well, let's look here for a second. 20. In case you missed the memo, 20 is the max level cap on classes for Gears of War 5, which means that I am going to be able to bust out these builds at a much higher rate than what I was before, because in previous videos I was still working on these builds, but alas, we are done. And I think that after I finish this build series, we're probably going to do an overall critique of Gears of War 5 in the hopes that Gears of War 6 is the perfect swan song to the Gears of War franchise. I mean, they really can't afford to make the mistakes that they've done in 5 because there are some critical game-breaking errors with this game. However, we're going to go through and just truck along with today's topic, which is obviously the Marksman. So this class is one of the most straightforward classes I can even explain. Dare I even ask why you need to have this class be explained to you? It's a sniper. That's what it does. It snipes things. It makes sure that everything is dead. It can't handle absolutely everything, but this is great at fending off wardens, scions, hell, even sometimes snatchers. Those critical shots that you get, they're really punishing. These guys do a truck ton of damage, but they don't have a whole lot of defense, therefore making them a glass cannon, and you should always try and keep yourself out of the line of fire at any and all times. The description for this role is a master of the headshot. The marksman picks off targets with surgical precision. That doesn't really tell you a whole lot about what this class can do, up until you start getting into the ultimate abilities and the passive ability. With the X-Ray Ultimate, you see and shoot enemies through walls with ballistic weapons while active. Precision shots penetrate through targets. So ultimately, if you shoot through one enemy's head and there happens to be another head behind that one, you're gonna get the double. It does not happen often. In fact, I think I've maybe pulled this off once in all of my gameplay with the Marksman, and I have leveled up reasonably all of my classes fairly without XP boost, so that should give you a measure of how long I've really been playing the Marksman. So getting into the general build for Horde, I do things a little bit differently than most folks. So I have the explosive critical hit, which is something I emphatically believe everyone needs to have regardless of the situation, unless you're doing escape. To talk about this mod briefly, it just makes heads explode when you kill someone. That's it. If you get a headshot, it detonates, and when this thing is fully leveled up like I have here, wow, it will take out an entire crowd. As long as the enemy that you are shooting is within a reasonable distance of that crowd, I like to pick off scions because they're the most threatening to my squad. And if I do manage to shoot them at the right time while a bunch of drones or juvies, any other enemy types are near them, sometimes even the stumps? Yeah, sometimes the stumps will actually get blown up by this thing. It's just a really good mod. I wouldn't imagine why anybody wouldn't want to use this. So I also use Steady Hand. And that's mostly because screen shake is just so goddamn obnoxious. And I know by design that Coalition threw this feature into the game to purposely make it harder for players to aim. And that would be fine, that would be reasonable, if we didn't also have to deal with, like, just critical game-breaking issues, like, I don't know, a fucking elite drone shooting you from across the map with a claw, with pinpoint accuracy. I've been downed one shot by these guys. And it's already bad enough when you have enemy bolters that shoot you down, or enemy hunters that shoot you down. These guys are just way too goddamn accurate, and so it's really obnoxious to have to deal with not only the issues of aiming if you have troubles aiming, which if you do have troubles aiming in the game, I can relate, because the sensitivity is really wonky. Some people can manage with it really well. I'm not one of those people. I find it easier to aim in Halo Infinite than I do in Gears of War 5, so it's a sleight of hand, man. If you don't need this mod, then God bless you. But if you do need this mod, put it on there, because it's better to consistently get headshots, like, as much as you can, than it is to miss and reload and miss and reload. So just put it on if you need it. It's one of those things that if you don't need it, don't put it on. So I will recommend something if you don't need it. I would go for Icy Precision. So this one ensures that 25% freezing damage per active headshot with precision weapons. I just wish that this wasn't a 25% deal. I wish this were like a, every time you get an active headshot, you freeze your enemy. Because it is really helpful if you slow down or even just completely freeze an enemy snatcher or an enemy matriarch, especially in a moment that's so stressful when you're getting overrun by enemies. It's extremely helpful to the team, but it sucks that you have to just roll the dice and hope that you freeze your enemies. I don't like mod cards that do that. Unless the mod card maxes out and is a guaranteed chance by the time it maxes out, but it doesn't do that, so I would reluctantly replace your steady aim with your Icy Precision, again, if you need it. Moving on, I have Exploit Weakness, which is a 55% increase to critical damage. This, in conjunction with all the other mods I have on the Marksman, make it so if I get a headshot with an active reload, things are generally going to die, unless they have a mutator with more health. For instance, there was a mutator the other day in the daily challenge for Horde, which they had 2 additional health upgrades. So I ended up having to shoot the scions twice in the head with actives to kill them. But even still, that's just an impressive, ridiculous amount of damage going into their domes. So if it's just a standard horde and you're doing master difficulty, if you get an active reload with this mod setup, you're decapitating everything. I mean, unless it's a boss, which you can't decapitate, you're decapitating everything. Wardens will take an upwards of 2 to 3 shots after their helmets are popped off, so just count it up. Unless there's like health regen, and you're sloppy and you take forever to hit the heads, their heads are popping off. So one of the last mods I have here is the ambush, which is 100% critical damage to targets above 90% health. This is great if you're the first one to shoot snatchers or stumps or just any boss at all. If you're the one who opens the engagement, this is going to put you really, really far ahead of the team in terms of damage that you're putting into the enemy. So I have it here just because, like, I like to help the team as much as possible, but even then, I am highly considerate of replacing this with Icy Precision. I just don't like to use Icy Precision because of the gamble that you run. Am I going to freeze something? Is it not going to phase it at all? You could argue that I could just reload and hit him again, but I mean, in a stressful situation where you're already getting swarmed, milliseconds matter. And why waste that when I can just pump more additional damage into them? Even though, like, this is only good for health bars that are 90%, this is going to ensure that you get the definitive headshot and kill with 90% of the things that you're attacking. So I just see it more useful than Icy Precision. We can debate about this all day, and I don't think anybody would be right or wrong if they favor one mod or the other, but this is what I roll with. Choose it as you wish. So the modified long shot is kind of a staple to this class because you start with a long shot and it's going to give you that damage increase while the active effects are present. So like I said, this class is going to ensure that you bust domes. There's just no escaping that for enemies. Even when they have, you know, double the health that they would normally have, it's a safe bet to bring a marksman because they're still going to be able to crack heads without any issues at all. I tend to rely mostly on my teammates with my build because a marksman, as I mentioned earlier, is just a class cannon. On their own, they can't do anything because they don't have a whole lot of defense. Even their ultimate ability doesn't allow them to escape damage or, evade. It's sheer offense. So my tactic is to just spam X-ray as much as I can and capitalize on targets who are hidden away. I try to seek out scions. I try to identify where scions are, and this is where a marksman really depends on other teammates to spot enemies for you. If I'm in voice chat with my squad, I always tell them to spot out wardens or scions, sentinels or guardians, because those are really the biggest threat to my squad. I can't do a whole lot about swarmax, flocks, matriarchs, or carriers, but for the mini bosses that I can take care of, I try to eliminate them off of the playing field as fast as possible, and I will prioritize the big guys before the small guys. Small guys can be handled. They can be taken out by literally anyone. Flushers are just flushing. That's all they do. That's their whole responsibility, is to try to flush the allies out of the cover and get them exposed and therefore kill them. So literally anyone can handle them, and if you can't handle them, then you need to get good, bro. Okay, so for the escape loadout, I don't think I'm doing anything different here. Actually, the mod setup is still the same, with ambush, steady hand, explosive critical hit, and then the two mods that I have replaced here, I have critical parade, which X-ray critical hits extend the X-ray by 23%, and then patience X-ray recharges 200% faster while safe. So literally, if you just keep it cool, stay behind cover, and don't get shot, you will recharge your ultimate. And then when you get your hands on a sniper rifle, you can use your X-ray ability and see through walls. I see this happening all the time in Escape. I don't personally like to play Marksman in Escape, but I have seen people just mop up an entire map because they really capitalize on doors that aren't opened. They'll close a door, or they'll never even open it at all, and they know that enemies are behind that door. They'll use their X-ray and they will just start shooting through walls and popping domes, and the enemy doesn't even enter an alert state because they have no way of confirming that they're even being shot. It's the best shot at a stealth mission in Escape, because like I said, all you gotta do is just chill, and your cooldown will, I mean, you're able to spam the X-ray ability anyways, regardless of whether or not you're in Horde with this mod present, or if you're in Escape. So if you get your hands on a sniper, it's a safe bet that you'll be able to spam X-ray and get a lot of headshots. And that's really the only thing that the Marksman is capable of doing. It really doesn't have any defensive capability. And it's sad because I strongly feel like every class should have one trick that keeps them safe, but Marksman doesn't have that. The only defense Marksman has is a really strong offense. But it requires you to be good at aiming, and let's face it, not a lot of casual gamers are. I consider myself an above average novice or adept marksman. I'm definitely no professional. I could get a lot more headshots if I practice and I tried a little bit harder, but overall this class it's a niche taste. Not everybody's gonna like it, not everybody is going to enjoy it. So regardless, I hope that you have learned something from watching this video, and it always helps if you smash that like button, because after all, you can't advance without Vance. And until next time folks, sayonara, goodbye, arrivederci, peace.